Hello, my name is Yas, and in today's video, I am going to talk about the most common Japanese loanwords used in daily conversation in English. It is interesting for me that they are used without being translated into English among English speakers. I've ever read some articles about some common Japanese loanwords from the view of its meanings and the culture. In this video, I am going to compare English and Japanese from just the view of the pronunciation. Well, I need to tell you one thing before I start. I don't want to claim that English speakers pronounce them with wrong pitch accent or wrong pronunciation. I just thought that thinking of how they are pronounced by English speakers in daily conversation might be tips for me to teach Japanese pronunciation to English speakers in my Japanese class or in my YouTube channel. I don't mean that I want to correct their pronunciation. So let's get started. Number 5. Tempura. In fact, I sometimes hear an English speaker saying tempura when we talk about food. Like, oh, I like tempura. Let's take a look at the pronunciation of it. Tempura. It sounds to me they probably consider it having 3 syllables, while it is supposed to have 4 moras in Japanese. When Japanese people pronounce it, it may sound tempura, tempura, and tempura. Since English speakers don't count the n sound as a syllable, they tend to skip or shorten the n sound when they pronounce a Japanese word. And I also noticed one more thing, that English speakers tend to pronounce the middle syllable pu higher in pitch and longer than the others, while Japanese people pronounce all letters of it with the same length of time and the same pitch. This tendency is called word stress. This concept is one of the distinct features in English. So it is presumably because an English speaker wants to emphasize one syllable in a word, even when saying a Japanese word they do in the same way. But the Japanese pitch accent don't have anything to do with emphasis, so Japanese people pronounce tempura instead of tempura. Number 4. Karaoke. Here again, when an English speaker says this word, they tend to pronounce the 3rd syllable o higher in pitch and longer than the others, while Japanese people pronounce karaoke. The sound of the word seems to be influenced by English. But interestingly, although karaoke is an English word adapted from Japanese, the word originally came from English. It is composed of 2 words, the word kara meaning empty and the katakana word oke coming from the English word orchestra. So orchestra became oke for short. Japanese people have adopted so many English words and destroyed its original pronunciation, even its meaning sometimes. So English speakers might be confused with the differences of the sound between katakana words and original English words. Number 3. Sake. Japanese rice wine is often described in English with its original Japanese word, but the pitch accent of sake is the Heiban accent, in fact, so it should be pronounced sake. If the pitch drops towards the second letter, like sake, it means salmon. I think that when a Japanese word has 2 syllables, English speakers tend to pronounce it with the Atamadaka accent. I guess it is probably because many English two-syllable words are likely to be pronounced in a way similar to a Tamadaka accent such as sofa, under, higher, and sake. They sound similar, don't they? And they also tend to slightly drop the pitch while pronouncing second molar, such as sofa. I think that this is one of the most distinct features of English. But Japanese will not drop the pitch while pronouncing one molar other than a long vowel. Number 2. Sushi. Maybe it's just me, but if my memory is correct, sushi is originally supposed to be pronounced sushi. But more and more Japanese people pronounce sushi with a Tamadaka accent recently. I had never heard of that sound when I was younger. As I mentioned, the Tamadaka accent sushi is easier to pronounce for English speakers than its original accent, sushi Odaka accent. I presume that maybe Japanese people have been influenced by English speakers, and then Japanese people also have started to pronounce sushi these days. So sushi and sushi, both accent types are acceptable now. Number 1. Ramen. Ramen is actually a Chinese dish but has been adapted to the Japanese taste and became a Japanese word. The word ramen is also used in English to mean mostly that kind of noodle-based dish. I think this is the one which is pronounced in the most similar way to Japanese original pronunciation. Ramen, 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 ramen. The only difference is articulation. First, ra is English. Japanese la is more like LA. I personally think that Japanese la, li, ru, re, ro should not be written with R. It sounds more like L. Ramen. Second, English ramen, men is schwa sound. In the field of phonetics, they call it schwa sound, which means unclear sound. I think it is similar to mun, as in ottoman. In Japanese, ramen, men is more like man. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video and will help you. Thank you for watching.